Hello and welcome to everyone to this Al Clasico, as Avnish was saying in the review yesterday. Pakistan and Afghanistan play each other today. An important game for both the sides. Uh, Pakistan started off their campaign well with two wins, but now it's hit sort of a roadblock after the losses to India and Australia. Afghanistan, on the other hand, did not start off well, but then came up with a win versus England. And last game, the less we talk about their batting and fielding, the better it is, because then Nikhil will take off and I and Anirudh can leave the show. But yeah, it's been an interesting rivalry over the last few years. The 2019 World Cup game was a close one. Imad Wasim had to put Pakistan across the line. Then the guy who finished off the last two close games between these two sides in the Asia Cup last year and in the very recent bilateral series, Naseem Shah's, he's missing. But there's always a lot of context in terms of what will happen off the field between the fans of the two countries. So we could be up for a tasty rivalry, tasty game today. And the news is the reports that have come out is that the pitch that will be used is the one that was used for India versus Australia game. So it could be a slow track. Uh, I'll now go to Nikhil first and then to Anirudh. Nikhil, your first thoughts on the game. What can we expect?
I'm already seeing better hosting in itself, which is a great sign of the homework that Paji does. So yes, kudos to him as well. Difficult job, thankless one. And yeah, I think as you rightly said, expecting a close encounter. Funnily, surprisingly, all the three games that Pakistan have played, they've been close. I mean, two of them went till the very end, if not the exact 50 overs, but hoping for another one today because we've been asking for one. Again, unfairly, because we've just been fed with too many T20s and close finishes that we just expect ODIs to come close as well. But it's unlikely to happen when teams are not evenly matched at times. But today could be the day where I think the difference between the two sides, while on paper may not be much, but if it's a slow deck, as you say, Afghanistan have the resources to close the gap. They've always had. So before I go on a rant, hopefully they can do the basics well.
Anirudh, your thoughts on the game. What can we expect?
My answer is also the same. But
Sarfraz,
Very glad.
Sarfraz Ahmed may not be there in this World Cup and the scheme of things for Pakistan, but during our shows, there's always a
Always.
recall and a reminder to his great line from the 2019 captain's event. So yeah, Anirudh,
Yep.
please.
yeah, I mean, completely agree that it's probably even on paper, I think this is the most even match we've had probably in this World Cup so far. Especially if you factor in the Chennai factor as well. You know, if this match was played elsewhere, like in Hyderabad or Wankhede or somewhere, then I would have said Pakistan are at least 65-35 favorites. But now I don't know who's favorite here. Honestly, it's especially considering both teams' form right now. It's like completely hard to call any side favorite. So I think it's gonna be a scrap as usual, as it's always the case in Chennai. And I think the team that will that is hungrier to win might eventually come out on top. So as cliched as it may sound, in Chennai, I think the team that is willing to scrap more always, kind of pulls through. So hopefully we get a good match.
The toss is about to happen. I reckon today's toss is pretty straightforward in terms of what you want to do once you win the toss.
And that
Anirudh?
is
I don't know.
exactly
I
exactly
don't
my
know.
question was the same.
If you're
I
Afghanistan, you want to bat first. If you're
Yeah.
Afghanistan, you want to bat first. If you're Pakistan, also you want to bat first because Afghanistan can't chase. I mean, it's just we saw in Chennai actually we saw in that first match that the wicket got better to bat on probably slightly, and also the dew factor played a part as well. But if Pakistan are bowling second, they will rely on their pacers anyway. I don't think they're gonna rely too much on their spinners. I don't think there's a chance of them playing three specialist spinners. I don't think Usama Mir, Nawaz, and Shadab are going to play. I think it's only going to be two of the three.
Same.
And we know both Haris Rauf and Hassan Ali are like skiddy customers who should be effective on these kind of surfaces. So even if if there's due, I don't think that will play a big part in terms of Pakistan when it comes to the second innings. So whoever wins the toss should bat first. In my opinion, it favors both sides. But with Afghanistan, I'm just always afraid that they will have to bowl. I'm sorry, they'll have to bowl. So fingers crossed, the right decision is taken and back your strengths. That's all I'm going to say.
You mentioned about Haris Rauf and Hassan Ali both being skiddy on these kind of surfaces, and you don't see Pakistan playing three spinners. But I, on the contrary, feel that if there's a pitch where Pakistan can go in with three spinners, it's this one, because because Haris Rauf, I've spoken a lot on him. I think he's not been consistent and he's not been pulling his weight in the side. Nikhil, what are your thoughts? Like, would you be open to making this switch, or do you think Pakistan will have to stick with three pacers?
Yeah, firstly, they are batting first, Pakistan, which is again something that we expected them to be doing. And uh, to the point of playing the Pacers, I think from what we heard from Finch also at the pitch report that he said that hitting good length and backward length might be the way to go, like how Hazelwood did in the second innings against India. And in the first innings also, we'll expect the Pacers to do that kind of role so that it is difficult to hit. And again, if it's a slow deck, variations and pace then becomes very very handy. What I feel has been a problem with both Wood and Haris Rauf as well so far has been they've probably erred on the shorter side more as opposed to erring on the good length part. Now again, I'm not a technical expert to be able to figure out why that is or if there is a plan that they are trying to execute, but uh, sometimes it happens, and I think today could be the best day for Haris Rauf to come good, especially while bowling second, because we know Afghanistan haven't chased well. And if Haris Rauf is able to get his lines and lengths spot on, I think he took a fifer in Hambantota while bowling second against Afghanistan. Today could be a good day to emulate that, because if it's in an uneven deck, and we've seen Chennai have, like most venues in India, have that amount in the second, in the first 10, 15 overs where it is difficult to bat. So that's where, again, not something new. Pakistan will hope to strike early there, but I think Haris Rauf could really play a very handy role there.
Now that you've spoken about Pakistan wanting to strike early and Haris Rauf doing well versus Afghanistan, we have some numbers that I want to show our viewers here. These numbers are of Shaheen and Rauf in the first 10 overs from the beginning of 2022, that how they've done with Naseem Shah and without Naseem Shah. Now, clearly, as it can be seen, Naseem not being there is also impacting the numbers and performance of both the pacers. What do you, what is the way out here? Uh, can they change lengths? Can they look at Hassan Ali to provide some control, or do they will they have to just pull their weight apart? Pull their weight themselves only. Is there a way around? To come up with better numbers in the absence of Naseem? Anirudh, you can maybe go first.
It's a tough question because we all even felt that Naseem is the most important piece in Pakistan's puzzle. Even if Shaheen had been, the more, let's say, the more attractive package as a bowler because of what he does in the first over, he swings the ball. But Naseem is their most reliable bowler, the most consistent bowler, and he's injured and they miss him a lot, and there's no like for like replacement for him at all, and that's also a big problem. But I mean, you just hope that all these bowlers kind of discover what has gone wrong for them so far and try to correct it, you know whether it's the lens or the lines. I feel like maybe it's got to do with lens as well, because Haris Rauf has, teams have gone after Haris Rauf early, and he's tended to be on the fuller side, or he's tended to be on a length which is very pullable for batters. He's done that a lot. So I think he can look back at the Netherlands match. I think he bowled really well in that Netherlands match. Maybe Haris Rauf can look back on what he did in that particular match and try to emulate it going forward, especially on a surface like Chennai, where if he hits that awkward 6 meter to 8 meter length. The ball could, the pitch could, either ensure that the ball stays low or it could just take off. So he can do that, and I feel the same with Hassan Ali as well. I think he just should probably stick to a line just outside off stump and try to seam the ball back into the right hander, and that is one of his strengths. It's always been. Don't try, don't try to be an Asim Shah. Don't try to be a bowler you're not. Just try to stick to your strengths and keep bowling the same ball all over again. And if you can't swing the ball, then don't try to look for swing. Just, if it's okay if you bowl that hard length from the first ball, but just have a plan and stick to it. And that's all I think Pakistan seamers can do at the moment.
And Nikhil's already agreed with it by giving him his thumbs up. The other thing that I want to touch upon now is, the playing 11. Now, Pakistan have made one change. Shadab Khan has come in for Nawaz. Babar has said that he had some fever. On the other hand, and also the playing 11 is being displayed in the ticker for those who haven't, got that information. So Pakistan go in with two wrist spinners today in Usama Mir and Shadab Khan. On the other hand, been a very interesting change from Afghanistan's end as well. Fazalak Faruqi has been dropped for Noor Ahmed. Now, when I was reading our preview today, there were some numbers about how left arm pace has also had the better of Babar in recent times. So maybe Fazalak Faruqi could come in. But they've gone in for Noor, which was one change we have talked about, because Pakistan has struggled against left arm wrist spin. And we saw how they struggled versus Kuldeep in that Asia Cup fixture and in the very recent game. So, what are your thoughts now? Can this change help both the teams? Do you think Afghanistan now are placed much better to counter Pakistan? And what do you make of this change to bring in Shadab instead of? I mean, it's a forced change, but does Shadab coming in help Pakistan, or would sticking with Nawaz would have been better?
Yeah, see, I think as you said, if it's a forced change, wouldn't have been able to stick with Nawaz. Uh, Again, Shadab, which is very when Anirudh said that it's unlikely to see all three spinners playing, but then it is come to a place now that Afghanistan could play four spinners, and you expect all four of them to at least complete that quota, and they are going to bowl first. So I don't know. Suddenly, I have this wave of false positivity from Afghanistan camp that and again, I'm just putting the disclaimer
You know,
already
this
because I
could
know.
this could mean that Omar Zai may not get a bowl at all.
Or
Which
he
is
opens the
fine if
bowling.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
that was just what I was getting to. That with Fazal not playing, this could, because they don't. I mean, you have Mujib. Naveen is someone that you can obviously use extensively in the second half. So this could just be the day. Again, very clippable or unclippable. That this could just be the day where Afghanistan surprised Pakistan by bowling first and chasing well. And again, the logic there is for Afghanistan to chase, they have to keep them below a par total. Let's be very, very
Yeah.
honest, given the pace strength and the attack that Pakistan has. But at this point of time, I don't think Afghanistan were better placed in terms of personnel to take care of Pakistan. And the logic there is, you see the top order, they've scored a lot of runs, but if it's a slow deck, I expect Mujib and Omarzai to create trouble with the new ball. You've had off spin troubles for Babar as well. That could come into play. And then we talked about Kuldeep, being able to strangle Pakistan. You have Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan. Now, the interesting bit with Rashid and Noor is something I'm very keen to see as well. That what the usage that we saw with Rashid. Sometimes I think when Rashid and Noor play, Rashid is the guy who's coming in earlier, and they use Noor to be the attacking guy. And I think that is a very, very good place to be in, because if you have two options who are that good, then it just really brings the best out of Rashid as well, because then he does not have to worry about being the only guy to take a lot of wickets in the middle overs. And I think that could really work out very, very well, that you can't hit Rashid. So then you have to take a risk versus Noor, and that could really help, Afghanistan keep the runs down. So again, I don't know where this sudden positivity has come through, but maybe that change has just spurred me to think that this could be the day where Rashid Khan's impact, which you see here, 2 wickets plus, this could very well be the day. It could have been in last game as well, but they wanted to give sponsors enough credit with Amul, but that's okay. Hopefully today is the day that all of that is reversed.
Yeah, I loved how you said that they wanted to give some content to the sponsors. Amul. Yeah, Anirudh, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make one point about Pakistan's forced change, because I think, unfortunately for Pakistan, this is the worst kind of surface where they could have lost Nawaz, because you need a finger spinner, you need especially a left arm spinner against a team full of right-handers on a slow deck like Chennai. You saw how Australia suffered because they did not have one. They only had Maxwell, and Zampa couldn't get his lens right. And Pakistan have not one but two spinners, and we all know how much Shadab has struggled in the last year or so to forget bowl well. He's not even landing the ball properly these days. And also Usama Mir also bowled a lot of full tosses in the previous match. So we've seen time and again on decks like these, it's not about having the ability to bowl the magic ball. It's about having the ability to land the ball in one spot continuously over and over again. So in that way, I feel it's a very bad time to lose Nawaz for Pakistan. But all said and done, I think if Pakistan can get 225 on the board, they should be confident that they can defend it, regardless of the surface, because Afghanistan have not shown so far in these big matches that they are capable of chasing even a moderate total. So, if I'm Pakistan, I'm looking at 225 to 250, and probably I'll be confident after that.
One thing that I wanted to ask you now that you mentioned how a finger spinner could be really important. So with Nawaz out, this should automatically mean that Iftikhar has a huge role to play with the ball, because he was actually bowling very well in the last game versus Australia too. 8 overs for 37 on that road is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also he came back well. He started off bowling a bit here and there, but then the moment he started to bowl outside off, and again there the opposition played in his hands. Marsh was very, very, I wouldn't say the word casual, but he was more than happy to just defend a lot from the off spinner, which is again surprising. And I'm expecting a lot more teams to attack Marsh with that angle, because there was bounce. He beat David Warner as well. He beat Marsh, but you expect Marsh to be able to take that risk better as compared to David Warner. So I think that is an area where I felt that Iftikhar bowled really well in the right areas, and as Anirudh said, uh, so anything over 220, Pakistan have enough arsenal to move around, but that is where I hope Afghanistan are able to keep them to a score below 200. So then they are also in the game. With a couple of partnerships, it could get close. So all of the all-rounders today will be very, very critical for both sides.
Yeah, Nikhil, you mentioned about them starting off the chase and getting into the chase, and in the preview we had spoken a lot about how the opening pair will have to do the heavy lifting most of the times for Afghanistan to score runs. Now there are some numbers here for Gurbaz in 2023 that in the first 10 overs, he's averaged 28.1 at a strike rate of 65. But once he's been able to survive those 10 overs, then he's taken off, because its strike rate in 11 overs 11 to 40 goes to 107, average is 49, and then 41 to 50 it again, the average comes down, but the strike rate goes up, probably because he's looking to hit. And if I'm not wrong, his best score in this year came versus Pakistan in Sri Lanka, in that series where he had that 150. So, how crucial is he again? And what about Ibrahim Zadran? Because he's also not gotten runs in this World Cup so far. Less than 100 runs in 4 innings. So, what can both of them do better, or how can they approach today's game? Because uh, at length we have discussed how opening is important, and on certain pitches it may be even more important to start off well. So, what could be that strategy today for both the Afghan openers?
So actually, I have a couple of interesting numbers about Gurbaz, which is basically before that England game, he actually had the worst strike rate among all openers in 2023, which is not something you would expect at all, given he has the reputation of being a power play basher in T20 cricket. So Gurbaz, to address Gurbaz first, I think he has a big problem against the new ball. But there's also another interesting statistic that in his ODI career, when he passes 20, when he gets to the 20 run mark, his average increases to 81,
Yeah.
which tells you that he has troubles early on against the new ball and he has trouble starting off, but once he gets his eye in, he actually takes off and makes it count. And we saw it against England as well. If not for that run out, he would have scored a century, but he got 87, 86 something in that England match either way. So from an Afghanistan point of view, Gurbaz will need to start off positively and also cross that initial barrier. But yeah, with Zadran, I think it's just a case of him never having played international bowlers of such high caliber before in his career. If you look at his first 20 odd matches where he averaged close to 50, he's predominantly played, maybe he's played like a couple of matches against Sri Lanka, a couple of matches against Pakistan. But if you look at the bowling attacks he's faced, he's not been consistently tested at all. And I think he's just been, and also even then there was a big difference between his average against pace and average against
Pace and
spin.
spins.
And I think he averaged around 30 odd against pace and more than 100 against spin. Now that he's been bombarded with quality pace up front, and also this new ball has been moving a bit in the first 3-4 overs, I think he struggled to cope with that quality. But now that he's played 4-5 matches, it's probably time for him to start contributing as well. And Afghanistan needed as well, because we know how big a drop in quality there is between Gurbaz, Zadran, and the rest 3, 4, 5. So let's see. I mean, Gurbaz, Zadran is a very important figure as well, and he's not fired. Uh, Pakistan will be hoping today also
Yep.
won't
Yep.
be the day for him, but you never know. Let's see.
Yeah, you spoke of the player that Pakistan will not want to fire today, but on the same hand, there's one player they'd be desperately looking for, the guy to fire and lead from the front, because Babar Azam, has been sort of out of form. There are his numbers that first 12 matches in this year he averaged 57.4, strike rate of 87, 650s and 200s, but in the last 7 matches it's not been much. He's struggled to average even 20, and the strike rate is 75, and that 150 came against India. So, uh, what can Babar do differently? And on a pitch like today, where you see spin being far more impactful than pace, can he turn it around, or this could be another game where he struggles because of the quality of spin attack of the opposition?
Yeah, I mean, with respect to turn, he could definitely, and Pakistan will want him to turn it around, because there will be a lot of that on offer. But again, this is also a game where I feel he might be freed up, in terms of without having to worry at the rate at which he wants to go. And now, again, with Babar, there are many theories that go around, but I feel he's at his best when he's just looking to bat long. That strike rate can catch up with him. And it's the manner of dismissal as well. I felt he started really well in that Pakistan chase, hit a very good boundary to Stoinis early, and you felt that, oh wow, which first guy who's getting such a start. But then that same dismissal that happened in the Netherlands game. So I think with Babar, it's about that first 20 runs at this point of time is what I feel personally. That if he gets those first 20 runs without much hiccup, because that's what you see with many great players, that they just get in. And that's where I think Babar has been found stuck in terms of not being able to break free that easily or not getting that boundary ball early. Now, again, if I remember the Nepal game, he hit a mid wicket clip to get off the mark and scored a very fine century there. Even against India, he got a very good boundary very early, and they just settled him down in terms of going into the rhythm. So they are batting first today. I'm expecting Mujib and Nabi to be bowling, maybe Omar Zai, but this is the best time for him to just get himself in. There is no need to worry about the rate at which you want to go. The power score may not be higher as compared to 300 or others. So this could just be the day where Babar can take his time, build his innings well, and then keep going. Because again, this is not the deck where you expect them to be aggressive versus the spin troika. This is not going to be a deck to be able to take those risks. So you will want to get into position like they did against India, and then hope that once you've reached there, the likes of Iftikhar, Shadab, Osama Mir also later down the order, and Shaheen Afridi, they are able to get the hits if they want to. But to be able to get to that par score, I think Babar Azam will be very, very crucial.
Guys, before I take the next question, I want to ask the viewers who are watching this that please press the like button, because the number of likes today will decide the number of boundaries that are hit in today's game. I'm not going for an individual score, I'm not going for a team score, but I'm going for an entertaining game. So the number of likes today will determine the number of boundaries will get hit today. So please like the video and do subscribe to cricket.com. Anirudh,
Yep.
Nikhil spoke about Babar. If you are in agreement, then maybe I can move on to talking about the next other important cog for Pakistan, who's been Rizwan at number 4, and he's been in very good form. The last two games he couldn't get a 50, but you felt that he was the one who was keeping the scoreboard ticking or keeping Pakistan in the chase. Now, again, how important does he become in a game like today, because this is pretty much a must win game for Pakistan, because if they lose today, they'll probably have to win the next 4 in 4 to qualify for the semis. So
Yeah.
what could be Rizwan's role, and how could how should he be approaching his innings today?
I mean, as usual, I guess. I mean, I don't think Rizwan has had any troubles at all in the last 10 or so matches. He's started the innings off very well, very confidently. He's looked to be proactive up front and, rotate strike. And that's exactly what you want to do in a deck like Chennai, where, you just have to manipulate the ball here and there, ensure that you just keep batting at a strike rate of at least 75, 80 for a while, and then put the bad balls away. And Rizwan has been doing that very well so far in this hot streak he's been right now. My only concern is that this purple patch is going to end sometime, and it's unsustainable for Rizwan to pretty much keep doing this match after match after match after match. And he's been rescuing Pakistan match after match after match after match after match for about 5, 6, 7, 8 matches now. uh, my only concern is that if that purple patch ends in the middle of the World Cup, then it's deep trouble for Pakistan if that happens. So again, my only concern is that can Rizwan sustain this whatever he's been doing right now? Uh, I think it's highly unlikely, but at least today I believe that even if he can contribute with 35, 40, and ideally Pakistan want him to score 75, 80 around that mark. But even if he can keep doing what he's been doing the last couple of matches, which is just stabilize the middle overs and score those 35, 40 runs, that will ensure that Pakistan get to a par score at least. So uh, unfortunately, Pakistan are over reliant on Rizwan right now, but considering the form of the others around him, Rizwan might have to come up with yet another very good performance
Very good
today.
score.
Yeah. Now we'll move on to the next section. And guys, I hate to say this, but because we are running short on time, you will have to keep it short, something that I'm always unable to. But let's hope you do it better than me. So, what are the key battles today? Simple as that. Nikhil, you go first, Anirudh, then you.
See, I'll put it very, very simply. It's about how they counter Noor Ahmed. The entire Pakistan order, whenever Noor Ahmed comes on to bowl, I think he's going to be key. Again, the usage will be very important. He has to be used aggressively. So that battle is something that I'm looking forward to. As for when Pakistan bowl, it is going to be Gurbaz and Ibrahim without a doubt, because they are the ones who are going to set this chase up. So, yeah, as quickly as it gets within 1 minute. Cheers. Your turn, Anirudh.
Yeah, I have a couple of battles as well. First one is Haris Rauf versus the Afghanistan middle order,
Yeah.
because Afghanistan have already been kind of troubled by Mark Wood and Lockie Ferguson. So even if Gurbaz and Zadran get them off to a good start, I feel that like he did in the Netherlands match, Haris Rauf can pull the match back in the middle overs against the middle order, especially people like Shahidi, Rahmat Shah, and all those guys getting beaten by raw pace. And in terms of the battle when Pakistan bat, I feel Abdullah Shafiq versus Mujib. I'm really interested because Shafiq is someone I feel could actually do well on this track. If you look at his test career, he's done well on slow surfaces, slow turners. and we know that he has a temperament to bat long on these kind of surfaces, and he's actually pretty good against spin. He's pretty composed. So if Mujib can somehow get knock Shafiq over early, that will be a huge bonus for Afghanistan. So I think these two battles also could be very decisive on
Okay,
MS.
now moving on to the next section, which is the X Factor. I've gotten a little bit of idea who's going to be those X Factors for both of you today, but nevertheless, sting hai to chalana padega. So Nikhil, why don't you go first with your X Factor pick?
So my X Factor pick from Pakistan will be Imamul Haq. Great matches versus everyone. Today could just be the day to get a very big turn. So hopefully the jinx doesn't like the good work continues with Daryl Mitchell and others. So Imamul Haq from Pakistan, and from Afghanistan, very tempted to go with Omar Zai, but I won't, and I'll stick to Noor Ahmed. So Imam and Noor.
Anirudh, yours?
Okay, Abdullah Shafiq for Pakistan because I already mentioned the reason, and for Afghanistan, I'm gonna go with Mujib.
Mm, okay.
Mine, I'm also going for Noor from Afghanistan, and I feel that Iftikhar again. I'm going with Iftikhar again. Could be someone who provides those 20, 25 runs extra to Pakistan and then comes in handy with the ball. So those are my X factors. There's also did you know clip for today, and did you know facts. So we'll now move on to that section. So this is about Rahmanullah Gurbaz, who became the youngest wicketkeeper batter to score 150 in ODIs when he scored that 151 against Pakistan. Happened very recently. Today could be a good day for him to repeat. Maybe if not, the entire 150 runs, at least half of them to put Afghanistan on track for that chase. So yeah, that could be one thing that Afghanistan fans would cherish, and maybe who knows, even English fans might welcome that, given how they lost that last game, and they'll need the likes of Pakistan and Australia to lose some points and slip up. But with 2 minutes to go, we really don't have much to discuss. But first innings prediction scores, and what could be the result. Nikhil, you go first, and then again Anirudh.
Yeah, it is Chennai. I'm sticking with MS 224.
224, and Afghanistan to win.
It goes without saying.
Okay, I'm
224
going
बोला तो Pakistan can't win. It will take a miraculous performance, but yeah, ठीक है. Sorry.
Yeah.
from Afghanistan or Pakistan if they restrict them to 221 because chasing
That's
is
for you
not
to
going to
decide.
be.
That's for
The
you to
word
decide.
I'm
the
going.
actually, when it comes to Afghanistan and Pakistan, the word that I use for their cricket is mercurial, because
Okay.
there are miracles that keep happening with them. It's more of who's going to be more mercurial that day. But yeah,
Yeah,
Anirudh.
I'm going 204 all out Pakistan in around 46
Oh.
47 overs, and then Naveen will have to hit the winning runs.
He's opening
Okay.
the bowling, Naveen. It's not Omar Zai. ठीक है.
Oh,
कोई
Okay,
बात
so
नहीं.
maybe he could bowl the second over, but yeah. On this note, I'll have to end this review, and I'm very happy that while I am hosting the show, we have ended it in nearly the right time. So yeah, I think I need to ask both Sumesh and Avnish for a role change after today. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Those of you who are watching, please don't forget to subscribe to cricket.com. Do follow our content on social media handles and on our app. There's a live blog that will keep going on during the game. It will have a lot of statistical pieces and nuggets. Do watch that. There will be a lot of Hawkeye data, lengthwise data. So do follow that, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And do join us for the review after the game today. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Cheers.